How's it going, everyone? Crickets are back. If you can hear them, sorry about that. As always, disappointing Sunday for Orange County Soccer Club fans, obviously. So they got to drink something just to sort of forget what happened. Unfortunately, I decided to choose something that reminds me very closely to smoked salmon, which I don't know if that's a good thing when you're drinking a beer. All I got to say is, welcome to the Podcast of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
And the air leaves Allang Stadium in one large exhale. Trouble. Arozarena beat. Orange County opens the scoring. It's Thomas. Kaninga scores! The old guard with a new trophy.
This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast or on Facebook at Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to your Orange County Soccer Club. You know, fans, supporters, everyone involved with this team. I'm your host, Ray Samora. I'm here to take you through this journey as we, let's call it a therapy session here, as we have to discuss a pretty disappointing result this past weekend up in Sacramento. Let's go around the table and welcome everyone. Let's go first to, I'm going to let our producer pick. Who's coming on first, producer? Alan down in San Diego. Mr. Alan, long time no talk. How you been, my man?
Been good. Been busy. I'm back traveling for stuff, and then, life happens, and a city council meeting, and all sorts of shenanigans. So it's good to be back. Would like to have been back to talk about a better game, like the one they played the week before. But Orange County is still in the playoff race.
Technically, somehow, some way, which is the biggest shock I think out of everything, right? That's crazy. Who would have thought? Let's do this. Let's look at that. We're going to go to Dylan next. Dylan, did you make the trip up to Sacramento to watch that amazing match?
No, I've still never made it to Heart Health Papa Murphy's whatever
Pop-up
park
stadium.
Unfortunately, every single year I'm either too broke, that was in college, or working. That's been since. So someday, probably, I will get up there. But no, I got to watch this one, unfortunately, after a nice long day of work at home. So it was really just already starting so poorly and never really got going after that.
Have we failed you, Dylan? Have we not taught you about sick days and what they're supposed to be used for? Call in, I'm sick, and then drive up to Sacramento, get seen on TV with your shirt off, waving a scarf around, and who cares because your bosses probably don't even know about this team. Have we not taught you about this, Dylan?
Yeah, so that works all fine and dandy, except for the fact that they would have no reason to be shirtless swinging a scarf around after that abysmal performance on Sunday. Otherwise, perfectly tracks.
There we go. Let's move up and to the left, and that's Mr. Brad up in Reno, who just always tends to blend in perfectly with that backdrop. Brad, how are you doing, my man? How are you feeling after a disappointing results against your former teams, one of your former team's arch enemies there in Sacramento?
Well, I was a lot closer than any of you, and that's even more so than my Reno location. I was actually in Grass Valley that day, which is kind of like, I don't even know the comparison for you guys. What would be like about an hour away in the hills from where you guys are? That's kind of where I was. You go like 30 miles east.
Chino Hills.
Sure. When we finally get that Inland Empire team, that'll probably be the same kind of idea. But it won't be in the hills. It'll just be in
exactly. That's where I was for a wedding. I was originally intending on going to this game, and it's kind of a good thing I didn't, because that would have been a very fun tweeting session 10 minutes in, and probably would have stopped about 20 minutes in.
All right. Well, we got one other person joining us tonight. We've got a 5-person crew tonight. You've seen him very much recently, and he's taken over as beard of the show. If we have our end of season awards, we might have to say like host or co-host facial hair award, and that probably is going to be a competition between all of you except for me, because I tend to not have much good facial hair. All of y'all have your different styles, but that's Larry. Long introduction. Larry, how you doing, my man?
I am in mourning at the moment. I broke out the red breast tonight, the 12-year-old. I save it for special occasions, and I think that after Sunday's performance that we can only mourn a little bit the season of what started off for the first 7 minutes hopeful and has kind of gone downhill from there. So tonight we
still have hope. We still have hope, Larry. We're still technically eligible to make that playoff push.
Yes,
it's there still.
And I still have hope of one day being under 200 pounds again, but all these things are really unlikely.
Trim off that beard, you'll lose about 10 pounds already right there. No, you can't lose that beard. That's like, at this point, that's like a trademark for you now. You've been on this show. I mean, that's just your style. If you lost that, people would be like, who's that bald guy with no facial hair? They would not know.
Nobody needs to see that, and my girlfriend would be really upset if I shaved my beard again. She gets pissed when it happens.
For the record, I would also be very upset.
Well, then you know what? The heck with Carrie, Dylan. I'm keeping it for you.
Keeping it for Dylan. That's what you got to do. I'm just torturing myself with my German-style smoked lager from BJ's. So that's what I got going on. That's why I mentioned it's sort of reminding me of smoked salmon when I'm drinking it, because it's got like that fake smoked flavor into it. I'm not saying smoked salmon is fake smoked flavor. If you do it right, it's actually real smoke, but that's sort of just the taste I get out of this. But I had it in my fridge. I didn't feel like going shopping, and I felt like I was already tortured this weekend. Why not torture myself a little bit more as we torture ourselves talking about the game this weekend? By the way, I'm going to admit straight up top here, I did not watch I didn't watch any but maybe 10 seconds of this match. My youth soccer team had a game on Sunday. By the time I got home, it was about 10 minutes into this Orange County match, and I saw we were already down 2-0 or 2-0. Let me say it properly. So I decided, nope, I'm not putting myself through torture. Hopefully they come back and get some sort of win or result from this, but I'm not going to deal with this at this point. Wasn't in the mood. By all means, I had an emotional weekend with my youth soccer team. So I wasn't going to put myself through much of that, but
8 minutes in.
Apparently, what's up, Dylan?
8 minutes in, and you've brought up your child soccer team. That's a new record.
Yes.
God,
and I will be talking.
People are already pissed off about this game. Now they're definitely not even going to listen to this. We can just do whatever the hell we want.
Guess what, Dylan?
Go home.
They could be pissed off all they want. They're gonna be eating crow at this end of the episode when I have my random thought or my random soccer thought. But we do have some of you that watch this game. I know Larry did. Apparently Dylan did after a long day at work. Brad maybe caught a glimpse too here or there while he's at a wedding and checking up the scores. Alan, did you watch any of the game?
I got to about 3-0. I think I got to like the red card, and as soon as the red card came out, I'm like, this is rough. I'm not sure I'm gonna need to watch the rest of it. I'll catch the end of it on highlights. I kind of got the gist of where this game is headed.
So with this match, right, we sort of learned why Orange County got knocked out pretty early in the U.S. Open Cup, and Sacramento made it all the way to the final. There's just a very, very huge gap in the quality of the teams overall, the tactics, their ability to perform, and maybe just their confidence levels. I'm sure Sacramento making that run just boosted a bunch of confidence for them. Let me go to you first, Dylan. Your thoughts on this match. Do we have any positives? I'll ask you that. Is there any positives for Orange County out of this match?
Yeah, we're one game closer to the 2023 season. That's the positive from this match. I don't know who needs to tell the linesman and all the players in the box, but you actually cannot be offside on a corner kick because the ball is, no matter where it is, considered to be on the goal line, which means everyone would have to be behind that. So yeah. I don't get why they stopped when they saw the flag go up. Sacramento deservedly so. They got their goal because they kept playing, and the linesman's a moron for raising his flag. And we look schoolboyish for not playing through. Alan, please tell me why
Yes.
I'm wrong, because I'm here for it.
So here's where I think the confusion is he plays the ball to Lopez, and Lopez takes a heavy touch, and the guy taking the corner runs is like on his way to get kicking the ball, and then he stops, and Lopez continues his possession. So what I think the assistant referee is doing is seeing the offside player move toward the ball and raise his flag, but then realize that he's not playing the ball and then puts his flag back down. In the meantime, all the Orange County guys are like, saw the flag go up. So like, I think he should wait in that position, right? You have to he should have waited, but it wasn't like it was, he saw Lopez and was like, oh, I think that's offside. Like, it's borderline, right? The guy is making a move toward the ball. Like, he doesn't have to play the ball to be involved in the play. So I think it's like this borderline thing, and he raises it and is like, oh, no, never mind. He's not as close. And again, you got to play to that whistle because the AR, it can be wrong, right? The center official can overrule that ruling, right? He doesn't have to call that offside. And so I think this goes to one of our pet peeves of all time is anytime a defender is beat on something, he immediately raises his hand like, oh, I'm up there. He's offside, and everything stops playing. It's like, yes, the AR should have kept his flag down, but I think it's a justifiable mistake by the AR. Like, I'm not going to be like, you were completely wrong. It's like he was reacting to what he saw, and he wanted to make sure he called it when he saw it, so the play could be blown dead. And so he's quickly trying to raise it. He puts it back down again, but again, by that point, half of the team stopped playing as opposed to defending. And to be fair, like, that looked like it might have been an open header regardless. I think the person I'm most mad about it is Rakowski for like stopping and not just trying to save that shot. I think a lot of the defenders were already beat on that as well. So I'm not sure it would have hugely mattered if they had kept playing at that point. But yeah, I think Rakowski probably could have made a save if he had just, played to the whistle.
You're absolutely right.
I don't know if y'all are seeing on the replay that's showing on the screen if it's blurry like what I'm seeing on here. But if that's the case, I think that's intentional because our producer's trying to hide it. If I'm the only one seeing a blurry replay, then my internet just sucks. Go ahead.
It's blurry.
Okay, that's intentional. Our producer did not want us to have to watch this torture, so we're just seeing pixelated shapes and colors all around here. So by all means, I love it.
Yeah, Alan, you're absolutely right. He should have waited. And in any other situation, I think the AR does wait. If there's a ball over the top, maybe, and there's two running onto it, and the guy realizes he's off, and he just pulls up, and the keeper gets the ball. They just continue on about their day. But if he goes to actually play the ball, he raises his flag. So it's just kind of everyone's at fault for that one. And what a way to start off a game. And it's embarrassing that it gets worse from that point on. Just like where to begin.
Out of words for this one.
I was messaging our little group chat earlier about a certain center back of ours. God, I hope he's not coming on tonight. He gets this defense for not being a true center back and playing out of position a lot. And we're 20-something appearances into the game or into the season as a center back, and seems just as lost, if not more lost, than the first 5. And it's just so painful to watch Albie Skendi multiple times in this game, like the complete and utter inability to position himself or to run, which I feel like really sums up tactically. I think Chaplow and his assistants got this game wrong because we were cut down multiple times by the exact same play. And you play 2 very slow center backs and a very high line. What do you think is going to happen? Balls over the top. Ball over the top, ball over the top, ball over the top. Or if it's not a ball over the top, it's a little inside out, and you get the guy on the overlap, and it's a through ball. But yeah, Skendi just drifting out wide. Hey, the right back's not going to shoot from 50 yards at an angle when the goalkeeper's in the goal. Like, why are you drifting out wide? Just mark your man and stay in the middle. You don't have time to stand him up because you're not fast enough to get out there. What were the other things jogging back?
I thought Albie's like one of the fastest on the team from what we learned a few weeks back. We were discussing it, right? But someone maybe needs to teach Albie how to hold down the R2 or the the right bumper when he's running to try and get back on defense, because he didn't have that turbo boost going on. He was just running normal speed. He wasn't busting out the turbo there. But I thought we learned
speed is gentle. Like
I thought we learned that he's fast.
Apparently, but I think your top speed can be great, and this is a game about acceleration. If you take forever, if you take a quarter of the field to get up to your top speed, you're not helpful, because there's going to be someone that might be slower than you, but if they get to their speed faster, they've got to step on you, and that's all it takes. And that happened a couple times. Oh man, jogging back multiple times, that was cool. Him tripping over himself was a quality comedic highlight, and then playing Foster onside for the entirety of the third goal was great. My personal favorite was him not stopping the low cross, which he likes to score on goals, so maybe that's why. But then having the gall to look at Rakowski and go, "Come on, man!" So truly a horrific match from him. And that really sums up like how the game went, because even without Roscoe getting sent off, it was already out of our hands by the fifth minute. We just didn't look like we were up for it.
Luckily for you, Dylan, in the green room, we have an Albie Skendi waiting to speak with you. No, I'm joking.
Oh, good.
I'm joking. Dylan was just
too early. He's got 12 minutes.
Dylan was ready to just jet if I would have welcomed Albie in after that rant there. Let me go to you, Larry, really quick. I'm going to ask you a question, then you can give your overall thoughts on the game. But has Orange County reached its rock bottom after this match, or are you still fearful that they'll fall even further from this point?
I don't know how much further the team can fall at this point. I really don't. What does terrify me is the fact that we got to play Pittsburgh on Saturday, and Pittsburgh's a really, really pretty damn good team. 2 months ago when I wrote that first article for the website for the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, one of the things I said is, where do we go from here? There was only two ways at that point: straight up or sideways. They couldn't have sunk any lower at that point 2 months ago, and they have literally stayed sideways. And I actually think they went a little bit lower on Saturday. This looked like a team, and God, if any of them are watching, I love you guys. I do. Chaplow, if you're watching, I love you too, man. But this team did not look like they were ready to play. Dylan said it spot on. They were outmatched, outcoached, outplayed, outran, outshot, just out everything. And it's just so bizarre to me, because there are so many quality, talented kids on this team, and some really strong veteran leadership. And why this team hasn't been able to find chemistry, and that's what's lacking. It's not ability, obviously, because Villanueva's a great player. Hoffman's terrific. I think Dan Peterson's been really solid all year. This is a Milan, obviously. He's the only A+ we got for the season. Why hasn't the chemistry developed with these guys throughout this season? I mean, I know there's injuries, but man, it's just been nuts. I don't know. I don't understand that personally. That's the biggest question mark that's been in my head since, we started the first 6 weeks of the season, is where is the chemistry?
Brad, let's go to you. Answer that question. Where's the chemistry in this team?
Somewhere in between last season and next season. Unfortunately, I do agree.
This season.
Yeah, no, it's clearly missing this season. Partially, I bet you due to, as the common theme has been, injuries. But I guess the team hasn't really found that next man up attitude that's worked for us in seasons past. I don't know if it's like the team's not as comfortable, or if the team's not being coached well. It's a lot of different things going on at once, and I guess this season's just a wash.
I mean, the key answer, right, has to be defense. I mean, defense is what's let this team down this season. The offense has been there. We have some quality offensive players that have scored goals or have at least put in good performances. Maybe it doesn't show statistically, but really it's the defense. And Dylan brought up the name Albie Skendi. We've talked. I want to say, if we go back and watch and get the transcript for every episode this season, Albie Skendi's name is probably the most mentioned out of all the players on this roster. And unfortunately, it's not for the positives that he's done on the roster or in the matches, but we've talked about it too, right? He's sort of playing a lot of center back, which he has done in the past, but from what we've learned, it's probably not his primary or top position. He's probably more suited for attacking or midfield or something like that as far as what he's done in the past. Dylan's looking like, I don't quite know, right? But from what we've heard, center defense is probably not his best position. Now, obviously, what we've seen from center back, there's a lot of room to have better performances in other spots. But it's just been difficult. And you got to look back in the season. Probably the biggest answer, right, is going to be Rob Kiernan. Him missing as a center back, partnering with Michael Orozco. Those two had built such great chemistry over the past few seasons. And him missing in 2022 is probably the biggest reason why we have struggled. You can also probably put in there the loss of Kevin Alston, who was a veteran presence in the back. And then one name that we really haven't mentioned about this much this season as a key contributor on defense, but that's Nathan Smith. Yeah? No? Anyone agree with me on that? I mean, he has to be missed because if y'all remember back, this is a guy that was able to basically one-on-one defense stop Solomon Asante, who was at that time our Achilles heel, and we didn't like the guy, and he would score against us like easily. And Smith just stood his ground, got the ball. Asante tumbles. We get going, right? I know that's just one highlight there, but there's three key pieces of this team on defense that we didn't have. And then Brent Richards injured for a good part of the season. And the players we brought in to replace some of these players. I know Alex Villanueva has been amazing for us, but even him, he wasn't naturally traditionally a defensive player. He was more of a winger transitioning to a defensive player at this point of his career because that's sort of what was needed. And maybe his skill set fits that. So you had really Danilo Acosta gets hurt. We lose him. That was hard, but not Danilo Acosta. What's his name?
Danny.
That's right.
Danny.
You're actually right.
Danny Acosta. I was right, Dylan?
Yeah.
Wow. It's weird when I'm right. It feels weird to be right when I say a name.
I'm very proud of you.
Probably if he's here healthy for the season, there's a little bit of a difference there. But you look at what happened, right? 3 to 4 of our key defensive players were missing this season. Players you anticipated having there. And I think that's what hurt. I mean, Michael Roscoe was the only one that could stay healthy on that defensive line for much of the season. I mean, we talked about it. Albie Skendi playing defense where maybe that's not his most comfortable position. Danny Peterson playing back there. Seth Kasipli was playing defense on the right side for a good portion of the season. These are players that are not defensive players. Alex Villanueva too, just learning how to play defense. That was our biggest Achilles heel. That's the reason why we are where we are, and we're struggling at this point. And lo and behold, now we have a next game. I believe Michael Orozco is going to be missing. So what's going to happen at this point? Alan, what's going to happen? What's our defense going to look like? Can we maybe let's just throw like the Olofsky brothers back there, or let's just do 1-1-1, whatever the rest of the formation would be.
Just ask if you can play every player on the roster, and it would look like one of those like 2 Premier League players playing like 200 kids. And just have we're going to put all of our academy kids and all of our guys, just fill up your half, have some fun out there. This is kind of the bad thing about the end of the season, right? Like this is the time of the year where injuries creep in. People have been playing hard for an entire season. The old 999 formation, 999. I prefer the rent is too damn high guy. That's the guy I liked. So I don't know what you do, especially against a team like Pittsburgh. Like Pittsburgh doesn't destroy teams and score tons of goals because it's lily ball. Like if you score more than 2, I think he yells at you. But it's just still a Pittsburgh team that is fighting for a home playoff match against a back line that's shaky at best, and now you're going on the road. I'm not sure. Maybe draw straws. Loser has to play center back.
Is Dylan volunteering?
I have a suggestion.
I was going to say, Dylan, this is not elementary school. You don't have to raise your hand to speak. Just talk.
I was speaking
do it all the time.
Teacher, I wanted to be respectful and not cut him off. sad trombone noises.
Very fitting.
Isn't it more a trumpet that does this? Those weird sad noises.
Anyways,
well, I mimicked doing the trombone.
Can you do that again, Dylan? So for our viewers that missed that action that you did right now.
What if we solely said this team isn't going to go anywhere in the playoffs and defend its title? That's okay. This season's a bit of a wash. Let's get Milan Lasky the Golden Boot record and just nice and just
who and why
send it and just try and get him the 6 goals required. Why not? Because we're realistically 1 game away.
Because we still have a chance. We're still in. Okay. We're still technically in the playoff picture.
So if we lose to Pittsburgh on Saturday, can anyone come up with a reason why we shouldn't just make this the Milan Lasky project? Like when Pep was like, "All right, I'm gonna have Messi score 100 goals in a calendar year." Like, let's just every ball at its terminal point should be at the right foot of Milan Lasky or the left. Probably not his head. He's not that tall. But hey, yeah, it should reach him and in a position where he can likely score.
Find some kind of positive to take from the end of this season, because right now there isn't any. I mean, that's just the fact.
It's Milan Lasky and it's all the kids. Yeah. And if the kids can start coming, and we saw this 2 years ago in 2020 as Raymond Dre had a storming start to his professional career. Alexis Cerritos? Well. I think he had a good one. And Nico Ruiz making his less than a week after signing professional terms made his. This is next year. This is maybe the next Kobe Henry. This is maybe the next Ronaldo Donis. Maybe the next Aaron Cervantes. This would be the big thing. So that's probably the bright spot, right? Is having despite an absolutely awful year on the pitch, somewhat successful year off of it.
But Dylan, we have to keep fighting until we are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. We still have the shot. I still have faith in this team. I may be the one fan that has faith on this team. Our producer wants to be done with this talk. Let's see where we are after this match with our season scoring predictions. Mr. Producer, pull that up. How are we doing? Look at that. I am, as always, as tradition calls for, I'm in last place out of the, I guess, 4 of us experts. We're going to have to start including Larry as an expert now, because look at that guy. He is running away with this battle. Larry, I know you're in the fan section of this, but you're now technically part of our crew. Yeah. So someone has to beat Larry's 124 to get that prize that they need to get if they want to get a prize at the end of the season, because now Larry's part of our group.
Well, Ray,
beat him, recruit him.
You could still do it mathematically.
I don't think so. Mathematically, can I still do it? Who can do the math there? Because how many matches are left?
There's 5 games left, right?
Or I can't get there mathematically at all.
10 points
5
available.
games left. The best Ray can do is 115.
Okay, so I am eliminated from the championship. I am officially eliminated. I am the one and only, other than some of the ones that haven't probably supplied a lot of predictions. Yeah. I'm the one officially eliminated from championship or playoffs or anything like that. Everyone else, and including Orange County Soccer Club, still technically qualifies mathematically. But
I think
one of the most interesting that are mathematically eligible to beat Larry still. So Larry, good job. You're now part of the team. You have basically taken over.
Should I be proud since I got a lot of those points betting against the team?
At least you didn't go Dylan's route and say 1-1.
You're right. I had so much faith in our defense. What was I thinking?
Well, let's move ahead. We already started talking a little bit about Pittsburgh and how fun this match is going to be. I'm excited about this. I think there's a positive result here. We're going to shock the world and keep our playoff hopes alive. The team has nothing to lose, so they're just going to throw it all out there. I mean, we sort of saw that with Sacramento. It didn't quite work. There was a very offensive-minded lineup there against Sacramento. It didn't quite work for us, but now we've gotten that out of the way. Let's do this. Let's throw in, let's have both the Laskis, Kubo, Ugo Coley up top, whoever else can score goals. Let's just throw them up there. Let's go sign someone that can score goals that isn't playing right now and get up there.
Tyler Asher. who was just released from Red Bulls, not the baby Bulls, but the actual Red Bulls. He's without a contract. He can score goals.
There we go. Let's use some of that Kobe Henry money and bring someone in like that just to ruin the rest of the season for anyone else that we're going to play, right? That'd be I guess that's the fun part at this point of the season, right? Let's just sort of ruin other teams' chances or their form or whatever it is from this point on in the season, because that's going to be the fun part. But we still have a chance of the playoffs. Let's see who Alan, since you're part of the USL show, you know more about the USL than all of us. Let's find out what your thoughts are on this match against Pittsburgh.
Oh, thoughts on the match against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's been kind of having some up and down form as of late. Not losing, except for Memphis 904, but also like oddly drawing against the Charleston Battery team at home, drawing against Baby Bulls too at home, barely pulling off a victory against Loudoun. And then drawing Lou City, right? These are like, it's been a weird time for Pittsburgh right now, and they are finding themselves drifting further and further down the standings, and now they are behind Birmingham for a home playoff match in the first round of the playoffs. So Pittsburgh is a team that might be a little bit on shaky grounds, and might be an opportunity to get at them. But they've had 10 days off since their loss against Birmingham Legion. So this could be a dangerous team, right? Like Bob Lilly can Bob Lilly, and it'll bore you to death, but he'll get a 1-0 win or a 2-1 win. But I think that also gives Orange County a shot, because you have Milan Olaski on your team, and all you need is one, right, to get a draw out of this probably. So it's a game I think Orange County has an opportunity to get something out of. Even in the form that they're in right now. You saw them play toe-to-toe with LA Galaxy. And even against 901, it was a 1-1 draw. I think there's a chance for Orange County to get something out of it. They just got to make sure they're slightly solider on the back line, but willing to take advantages of the opportunities they have.
Alan, you got that wrong. They can't just be slightly solid along the back line. They have to find a way to be, basically top of their game on the back line to have any shot at this. Without Michael Orozco there, each of those players on the back line has to be playing the match of their life, regardless of how little Pittsburgh likes to score goals, because we've seen this, that even the teams that don't like to score goals seem to find ways to score goals against Orange County this season. That's how amazing our defense has been. Brad, thoughts on this match? What does Orange County do to win and keep their playoff hopes alive?
I've run out of options to even supply, because it seems like every time I'm asked, what do we need to do? And I say score goals and not allow goals. We kind of do the opposite. But Dylan in our chats earlier today brought up something that was important. We're not scoring more than 2 goals a game in all but 4 of our regular season matchups so far this season. And I've always brought it up. We need to score at least 2 goals if we want to have a chance at tying, it seems like. And I don't know, without Michael Orozco, how do you even have hope that the defense can really hold on its own? I'd love to be surprised, but I'm thinking, the best result we can hope for is a 1-1 draw. And at this point in the season, drawing doesn't earn you playoff spots.
Sorry, I'm reading the chat, our back of the room chat here. Props to you, Larry, for holding in for typing your LOL while I was just cracking up at a comment someone made on there. Can we say this? Let me ask this weird random question. Again, we're at this point, we're technically still alive, but we've all sort of determined, let's just try some random weird stuff and get Milan Olaski some goals or whatever we got to do. Who would be better as like the lead in the back line? Who would you be more comfortable with at this point? Larry, Albi Skendi or Ugo Okoli as the center back for this team? Who would you think would put up a better fight on defense?
God,
I gave you the tough question.
That's a really hard question. And I'm going to type something in our chat that I'm not going to say out loud.
No, you're not allowed to do that, Larry. I mean, you got to.
No, I can't say that out loud on the podcast.
I will make that more friendly for the audience. South Park did an episode on it for the elections. The options are a giant douche or a turd sandwich.
So
it's not.
Are you saying you're not going to answer that question, Larry?
No. It's not that I don't think Ugo could do it. Ugo is a physical specimen. The guy is a monster. So could he step back there and play center back? Sure. He's a professional athlete. He can probably.
Would he do better than Skendi at center back?
Would he do better than Skendi at center back? I think maybe, which I hate to say because I've talked to Albie so many times. He's such a sweetheart of a guy. But, I mean, if I'm the head coach, which thank God I'm not because, that would be bad for everybody. I would, I mean, could it hurt the team to stick Ugo back there in Michael's place? I don't think so. And if he needs to come running up to score a goal, we know he can put balls in the back of the net. That's such a hard question. That's a terrible question.
You know what? Can I get a?
I'll take the turd sandwich.
Yeah, go for it, Brad. What do you got on this? What are your thoughts?
I would probably go with Ugo, and my reasoning for this is any line led by Albie Skendi back there, I'm afraid would look like a line graph with extreme variations from data point to data point, where like one person is well in front of the other, and it kind of looks like a little seesaw of data points.
Dylan, if we say Richard listens to our show and he's like, oh man, that Ray, he is onto something here. I'm going to put Ugo back there with Albie Skendi as our two starting center backs. How confident would you be on both of those guys staying back on defense for the entire match?
You're telling me, I thought it was a either or. You're telling me that we can't have Ugo and Dan Peterson back there next week? That's the best case scenario. He somehow thinks that.
So you're saying out of what we have, Albie doesn't even qualify as a top two on the defense. Remember, we play a back three. So Albie would probably still be back there, right? Or who else would you put there besides Albie in the back three?
Well, we really don't have the numbers for that anymore. But to be completely honest, if Chaplow happens to be listening,
maybe Chaplow can retire and he can play a game in center back. I don't know.
Can we get Kobe Henry on loan?
Yeah, now we're talking.
I
heard about
the best answer right there, Larry. You got that
one.
What's Walker Hume up to these days? Let's see if he can come in and be on a 10-day contract with us, right?
What's
selling
funny?
Houses in Dallas.
I thought it was commercial real estate, but to be honest with you, I thought this was funny because I thought this was the worst performance by an Orange County player since Walker Hume in 2019 in that very fun game out in Utah.
Alan, do you and your friends on the Two Balls and a Mic show talk this much trash on your San Diego Loyal roster? Or is it just at this point, our season's just so like down the drain? Like what else can we do at this point? Right.
I was, how mean do I want to be right now?
Very.
I was going to say no, because
we're all being mean. So
I was like, no, because San Diego's winning. So when you're winning, you don't have to pick out the warts, right? You could just look past them like, oh, the guy got burnt again. Whatever, we won. Right? This is why I don't think it's fair to be like Chaplow needs to go. Like, if you look at the players he has available, like, no one is like, oh, I can make this team. I can make a better lineup right now. It's just like, there's just not 11 guys that he can put out there to be like super successful right now. And so I don't know if that's necessarily his fault. I mean, there's a recruiting aspect, right? I don't know how much of a voice he had in that recruiting process, but I think at this point is you do the best job that you can. You be competitive. Maybe you find an academy kid that may be close. I don't know if you want to ruin him either, but like, I think you're going to have to get creative and think about just making sure that you're competitive, right? And if that means you have to change up your back line a little bit, if you have to maybe sit back and defend a little bit more. I don't envy Richard Chaplow because I just don't think like he's got a puzzle with missing pieces, and it's like, yeah, of course it's not going to look great. You're missing pieces.
He's got a puzzle with one piece on it, and that's Milan Olaski at this point.
Right. It's like he's working a 1,000 piece puzzle, and he needs it to be like 5 and under, right? Like he's Milan Olaski can steal you a point here. Like I think that there's enough there that a moment or two of brilliance, like Olaski almost scored at 2-0 to make it 2-1, and maybe this is a different feeling game, right? But that boot that was magical earlier just didn't quite sparkle as much as we would like to the past couple of games. But I do think, Milan Olaski still got that shot in there, and, he's chasing something. So I think there's some moments of brilliance there that he can maybe pull something out, or at least keep it close and respectable, right? Like I said, like Pittsburgh, I don't think is going to go out there and try and score 3, 4, 5 goals. That's just not usually how they like to play. They've scored like 4 once, I think. But I think you get as creative as you can on that back line, and you have some pretty good defenders on your team, right? That can probably get you through a game. Like a Brent Richards has been around. Maybe you throw Seth Sipley a little bit further back. Like you just get kind of creative, and
could put one of those yellow silhouette things that they use in training back there, and that might help out.
Let's get to our one of the center backs carrying it and just play it down and then scoot over.
That might work for this team. The way things have been going defensively.
I heard it's
last thought from you, Larry, before we go to our score predictions for this match.
My last thought about what?
About this match, about Orange County versus Pittsburgh. Are you going to watch it?
I am going to try. There is a little dance happening on Saturday night for my high schooler, and it's his first one. So,
are you chaperoning?
I am not, but they are arranging for pictures up at the RSM Lake for freshmen at 4:00. So I might be on my phone with my camera in my other hand, and doing both at the same time. And then it's also Carrie's birthday, so we have dinner plans. So I'm going to try as best I can to watch it. I just don't want the team to go out and get themselves embarrassed again. Because honestly, Sacramento embarrassed us. Sacramento's been playing well. I get it. We've been playing bad. I get it. It's just it's so hard to keep your spirits up for your team when they go out and they get slapped around like somebody's stepchild. It's ugly, and I don't want to see the team. I don't want to see that happen to the team again. So I'm hoping that they have a better showing than what they did on Sunday against Sac.
He's pulling a Brad.
I did pull a Brad, but I did realize it before you said it, Dylan, just so you know. I already talked about my son's team. Now I'm going to talk about the other team that I tend to talk about on the show. Hopefully Orange County can pull a Tottenham and respond like Tottenham did after they got embarrassed by Sporting and then just beat up on was it Leicester City, I think, or whoever it was, or no, not Leicester.
Do you think that Richard Chaplow is like Antonio Conte?
Oh, he's better than Antonio Conte. By all means, way better. Score predictions for this match against Pittsburgh. Brad, what's your score prediction?
I want to point out we made it 44 minutes before a Tottenham reference was made in reference to the youth soccer organizations one earlier. My score prediction for this one is Orange County 1, Pittsburgh 3.
Darn. All right, let's go to Mr. Dylan.
Pittsburgh 2, Orange County 1.
I'm disappointing you, Dylan. You got to go with your normal.
I'm disappointed in myself for saying that Pittsburgh's going to score 2.
Alan.
Same as Dylan.
All right, there we go. Larry, what's your prediction, man? This is the expert right here. So whatever Larry says, more than likely will happen. So make it good, Larry.
I think Milan picks up goal number 21 to set the Orange County Soccer Club single season record. And I think that Jeff Garner's Pittsburgh Riverhounds score 2.
So
can we drink for Jeff Garner?
Jeff Garner, please. I know you still follow us and you may still potentially listen to us. Help us out here. Help your former team out here. But to do this, I'm going to help out as well. Pittsburgh 5, Orange County 0.
Yeah, there it is.
We need the help. We need all the help we can get. Whether it's from Jeff Garner, who's secretly there as a spy for Orange County, still trying to disrupt things, help us get a victory. We planned this months ago. Let Jeff go over there, knowing that he would help us get this victory when we travel to Pittsburgh. And if it happens, this is all fake news. I'm not saying this actually happened. I'm just trying to.
6 days after we lost 4-0 to a team, it does hurt when you suggest that 5-0 is a score, because it seems like it might be possible, but it is Lily Ball, so it'll be like 2-0.
It is Pittsburgh. It's Dylan. If that's possible, then we're going to see some pigs flying across the sky at some point, because I don't think that'll happen with Pittsburgh. There's no way that can happen with Pittsburgh actually scoring 5 goals on us. Random soccer stuff. What do we got to share random soccer stuff wise? Dylan raised his hand like he's in class again. Go for it, Dylan.
Yeah, sorry, I guess I'm really on this big kick. The name Jordan Pefok might sound familiar to some of you, maybe not.
Yep.
He's doing great.
Never heard of him.
I highly doubt Alan. And he's doing great out for Berlin. I think he's up to 4 goals. Like it's 3 goals in 6 appearances for Union Berlin. He's an American. He did not get named to the final little group for these friendlies, but he once spent a little bit of time for the youth team and the reserve team of a certain French club that Kobe Henry now calls home. That would be Race, of course. And look at the career that Jordan Pefok's having now. So if Race, which clearly have some sort of belief in young players and do a good job of producing them, found Jordan Pefok, certainly good things bode well for Kobe Henry's future. And that's a nice one to think about, because there are not a lot of positives on the field this year, and that's obvious. But it hasn't been a terrible year off the pitch, and so that's pretty good. There's my little nugget of goodness, because I spent like 15 minutes complaining tonight about how terrible we were on Sunday.
There's actually some positives, like from some of the former Orange County players. You even look at like was it Josh Cohen playing in Champions League? It played for Blues like 1 or 2 games back in the days. So Ronaldo Damas having a pretty good year out in Europe. So yeah, I mean, I guess there's things for us to follow and pay attention to as Orange County fans outside of OCSC, which is cool. Larry, I saw you actually raise your hand too when I said random soccer news.
I was being funny.
You're taking a cue from Dylan there. What do you got, Larry?
I do have something. This is actually random soccer Rob Kiernan news. Rob became a permanent U.S. resident today, so congratulations to him. Glad to have you here. I messaged him on Instagram to say, it'd be, welcome to, here permanently, and it would be even better if we could see you back in the orange and black next year. So there's that. And my Black Cats from Sunderland, after 10 games in the English Championship, they are sitting solidly in 5th place in a promotion playoff position after 10 games. Very surprisingly. So let's go Black Cats. Away the lads.
So what we've learned is that Rob Kiernan probably knows more about American history than most people in this country if he became an actual citizen of the country.
Not a citizen, but a permanent permanent residence.
Okay, permanent resident. Okay,
yeah.
Maybe someday he'll know more about American history.
My ex-wife recently got her citizenship, and she does know more about American history than probably all of us right now.
Interesting. I'm going to go to some random soccer news plus some just random news. So what I have to say here, I apologize to damper the mood here, but our podcast and also the Orange County Soccer Club fandom community lost a member this past week. It's also someone that's close to me. It's one of the players from my youth soccer team. His father passed away a week ago from today. He was a big supporter of not just our podcast, but also Orange County Soccer Club. He was a season ticket holder. He had some pretty good seats right there at the, almost the center field mark there on the smaller stand side. So it's been a pretty emotional week for me as a fan and also as a soccer coach. My boys were amazing this past Sunday, playing their hearts out in honor of this father. His name was Jarrett. We all loved him. He was actually the biggest fan of my youth soccer team. Although you may think it's me as the coach, this guy was an even bigger fan of these boys, and he was a huge OCSC fan. He would bring his son to games. Like I said, season ticket holder. So he will be missed. He's missed by not just me as a soccer coach, but he'll be missed as a, podcast. He supported us and also as a fan of Orange County Soccer Club. So, just wanted to share that out. I definitely at a loss of words to say anything else on that. But if I know the player for my team and his grandpa, they're planning on potentially going to the final match of the season. If they're there, hopefully if anyone hears or knows, just, share love with them. Because it hit hard, my heart. I don't cry easily, but this is something that brought tears to my eyes when I found out this news. So yeah, sorry to dampen the mood, folks. Let's go to random thoughts. That's my random thought for the night as well. If anyone wants to go next, I'm not going to put anyone in the spot that they have to go after that. So just jump in and say your random thought.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Last week, during this very segment, a specific member of our podcast had some controversial issues about the passing of a former monarch, and then asked, why should we as Americans even care? And Dylan, I wasn't able to defend such a weird topic to discuss in the first place, but why we should care essentially is, one, even though we fought 2 wars against them, they've been our biggest ally since the Civil War. And importantly, 70 years is a long time to, regardless of whether you like what they did or not, is a long time to be in charge of a country. And it's weird living in a world where all of a sudden your someone so important to the public image is gone. And also, we as Americans love and are obsessed with controversy and drama, and nothing brings drama like the British royal family. So that's why we are obsessed with this story, more so than the British themselves.
One more thing for you, Dylan. It's been there's people that are 69 years old that have never had to sing God Bless the King. So that would be another thing that
no one has ever sung that, actually, no matter how old they are. No one has ever sung
Okay, well, then there you go. Dylan knows. See, Dylan knows this stuff, man. So we actually have some British knowledge here from Dylan, who was bashing the British monarchy just a week ago. So
this English Dan was on the show?
No, I think it was after he left. Hopefully
it was after I left.
I do have to say it was very funny that our partner club is a big fan of the Union and of the royal family, and that being Rangers. Their rivals, Celtic, less so. So in the SPL's attempt to not have a moment of silence be ridiculed, they said they'd have a moment of applause instead, and then the Celtic fans started singing, "If you hate the royal family, clap your hands." So the game's not gone, everyone. We still have incredible.
Can you come up with a better mean chat than, sort of something like, if you're happy, it, clap your hands? I mean, that just is like very like 2-year-old type level banter from the Celtic fans.
Oh, there are worse chants out there after the passing, like Lizzie's in a box.
Yeah, the Irish one.
Yeah, there was some pretty.
I have to apologize for any of our British listeners at this point, because we got some
geopolitics.
Yeah, I apologize.
Geopolitics is very interesting and very nuanced and very messy, and leads people to do silly things in public together. So sometimes things bring out the best of us. Sometimes things bring out the worst of us. And that is what makes us human, right?
I'm just glad we get to stand around and laugh about it. Because
Alan, what's your random thought?
Oh, geez. I don't have one. My dog's belly is shaved because we got him an ultrasound. No, he's not pregnant. He's just old. But he's doing well. So we got some good news this week that our 17-year-old dog is doing just A-okay. They said his internal organs looked okay, but they're also that he's old. So those things are normal when you're a 17-and-a-half-year-old dog. So Ollie's still alive and well and barking up a storm. That's why I had to leave earlier in the show because he was sitting at the back door instead of the one that's open, just barking his head off till someone let him in.
Okay, Alan, we were sort of all critiquing your living room back there and like what a mess it looked like. So don't worry about that. And by the way, it sounds like your dog is doing better than Dylan. Dylan has some sort of like big old patch on his arm there. So I don't know what happened to you, Dylan, but by all means, hopefully you are better than Alan's 17-year-old puppy there. Larry, random thought from you. No, we're not going to let you speak, Dylan. You already got your turn, and you decided to bash the monarchy again. Larry, your thought.
I thought I already gave my random thought, but I'd just like to add in that I am also an old man with a shaved belly. So that's
I guess that's what you do when you're old. You shave your belly. Dylan, did you have a last thing that you wanted to say? I know I cut you off, but I don't want to be a jerk.
I did, yeah, because I actually did have a random thought. I think that's good that Ollie has probably better internal organs than me. And yeah, I'm a little banged up. If you're going to pass a cyclist on the road, be nice about it. Be a good person. Give them a little bit of space. Of course, I'm a white man, so my ideal of social justice is alternative forms of transportation. But seriously, there's no reason to fly past someone. Be really close, and just be a nice driver, because just because everyone else sucks at doing it doesn't mean you should too.
Yeah, it's I don't mean to make lightheart of what's going on.
Please do. The more jokes, the better. If anyone has any cool plans for this pretty sweet scar I'm gonna have on the inside of my I'm bleeding through.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's start a GoFundMe page so we can get Dylan some training wheels so he doesn't get into bike accidents again in the near future. I want to thank all of our listeners for paying attention to us throughout this crazy episode where we pretty much bashed Orange County Soccer Club and Dylan as well.
Hold on.
And I guess the monarchy here and there as well. Man, this was just a horrible, crazy episode. Not horrible, just horrible, crazy. But as always, I want to thank Larry for taking his time to jump on here. Maybe we've lost him for the near future. He's like, what the hell did I sign up for this episode? Alan, who's been missing for a while, he's like, yep, I'm going to take another 3-month break. Brad, Dylan, and our producer, Andy. All of you listeners, thank you for hanging in here and listening to us. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, and we are... Orange County, you are my team.